The first 11 years of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, otherwise known as the Infinity Saga, may have came and went, but not a day goes by where we don't think about our beloved Tony Stark / Iron Man, the man who started the Marvel Cinematic Universe way back in 2008 and brought to a close the first 11 years of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in Avengers Endgame with his snap, saving everybody in the universe. There are probably close to infinite reasons to love Iron Man and the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but here are our top 10 reasons why we love Iron Man. Iron Man is one of the most loved, if not the most loved character in the entire MCU, and one of those reasons is coming in at number 10.
Take that off, what are you?
Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
Is because he said it himself, he's a genius, billionaire, playboy, and a philanthropist. Starting out with his pure intellect, we have somebody who created Jarvis, an artificial intelligence with nearly uncapped possibilities. One can only imagine what would happen if Jarvis went toe-to-toe with Cortana from the Halo universe. Let's just say my money's on Jarvis. And billionaire is not an exaggeration when talking about Tony Stark. When your net worth alone racks in higher than $10 billion, that's billion with a B, you're doing pretty well. In my eyes, if you look up the definition of playboy, you should see Tony Stark's picture. This man is very, very much a ladies' man. He's got tons and tons of women that want to be with him, and let's be honest, he's been with a ton of women and rocks the lifestyle that comes with it. And as far as philanthropy is concerned, he has genuine genes that actually help him give a ton back to the community. Just go and ask the Avengers. Number 9, speaking of the Avengers, Tony Stark was indeed one of the original founders of the Avengers and even led the team when it was first formed in the beginning. So you can't help but to think of how Iron Man would have a lasting impact and shape the Avengers of who they are as a whole now, for good or worse. Number 8, even without being the team lead, he makes executive decisions when he feels things just need to get done, or in this case, saved. We're talking about the time where New York was just getting wrecked, so some people at the top of the food chain, even higher than Nick Fury, decided that they needed to nuke New York City to stop the alien invasion. With Iron Man in a not today attitude, he goes in on the missile and flies it into a portal to absolutely destroy the Chitauri. While on the way, he decides to call Pepper, the true love of his life, but only gets her voicemail in return. This is just such a wrenching moment considering he could have easily died not hearing her one last time. Taking their place at number 7, Iron Man's suits. Iron Man's suits are the best evolving and adapting transformations we've seen when it comes to pure technology at its finest. Transformers really don't even come close to the Iron Man suits, and to think that he made the original Iron Man Mark I suit in a cave while being watched over by terrorists. And now he has over 50 armor sets. That's insane. You want a suit that fires bullets? He's got that. Want one with rockets? He's got that. Flares and even lasers. Want a suit to fight your space battles? He's got you, bro. And my personal favorite, do you want a suit to fight and just whoop the Incredible Hulk? Yep, Iron Man still has your back. Enough said. And bringing us in at number 6 is the fact that Iron Man just has the best way with words.
Well, I promise a stress-free environment. No tension, no surprises.
Ow! Hey!
Nothing?
Are you nuts?
Jury's out.
You rehearse that much?
Every night in front of the mirror before bedtime.
I can see that.
I'd like to show you firsthand.
You ever lose an hour of sleep your whole life?
Be prepared to lose a few with you. You know, the question I get asked most often is, Tony, how do you go to the bathroom in the suit? Just like that.
If you want funny, snarky, powerful, outrageous, bold, and many other verbiages from Tony, I promise you he will not disappoint. It's not just the words themselves, it's the way that Tony brings them to life, whether it's making us literally laugh out loud when he's trying to zap Banner into the Hulk just for the science of it, or just giving us tears on our cheeks in Avengers Endgame. His timing is nothing less than perfect with his words and the way he says them. Number 5. I don't know if you caught this, but when I say this, I literally mean this. He's not some god from another planet, but a human being who makes mistakes and is fragile when it comes to superpowers in themselves. Now, he definitely can pack some sweet punches with his suit, but in a fist fight with Thor or the Hulk, that wouldn't be too pretty. But this just makes us love him even more because he can be relatable with us even with his extreme life. Living. He is living as a human being without any extraterrestrial powers in him. He's even got his own doppelganger over in the DC universe, Batman. Tony Stark uses his weaknesses to his massive strengths, and that's how he's able to conquer these other super beings without himself being one. Number 4. Let's rewind a bit and remember when Tony Stark was first introduced into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He was one of the most selfish, prideful, cocky humans out there. Instead of it being the MCU, it was more like the you see me cause I'm Tony Stark and all eyes should be on me. Well, he ended up getting more attention than he bargained for, so he got humbled the hard way. And the result of this humbling is actually quite beautiful. We see him do a complete 180. Instead of him giving himself everything all of the time, he gave others everything he could possibly give them. His time, energy, intellect, money, and love. Everything was for you instead of me. This guy doesn't even need the Iron Man suit to prove that he is a superhero now. That's how drastic and awesome his true change was. Reason number 3. He's the one that started it all. The MCU began with Iron Man. The first movie to hit the Marvel Cinematic Universe in 2008, premiering on April 14th and releasing in May 2nd of that year. Now this movie set a glorious stage for all of us nerds out there, even people who just love pure quality film in general. How could you hate this movie? To me, there's just no reason why anyone could hate the movie and the man himself who started it all in the MCU. Call it my opinion, but I stand by it. Imagine if Iron Man didn't even happen in 2008. Would the MCU even exist how it is now? I seriously doubt it, and that's why the Iron Man movie and the fact that it and Iron Man started the Marvel Cinematic Universe come in at number 3.
And I am Iron Man.
Coming in at our number 2 spot of reasons why we love Iron Man so much is the fact that we have the greatest snap that has ever been recorded in the entire film industry. Of course, all of you should know that this moment takes the cake, hands down, where Tony Stark snaps his fingers to save literally the entire universe. Not just Earth, but the entire universe. Let's not forget the fact that in doing so, he sacrificed his own life to achieve this, and what hits you even more in the feels is that he has a family that of course we all know about. Now top all of this off with one of the best one-liners we've ever heard coming from the legend himself saying, "I am Iron Man," right before he saves the entire universe. It's really hard to try and justify anything competing with this scene in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, especially since you have Robert Downey Jr., the man who made us all love Iron Man, no ifs, ands, or buts. It's as if the character was made for Robert Downey Jr. and him for Iron Man, the two practically being inseparable. Which brings us to our number 1 spot of why we absolutely love Iron Man, and that is the fact that Robert Downey Jr. is the person made for Iron Man, or rather, the one who made Iron Man for what he truly is and what is forever supposed to be. There is no actor that I have ever seen to be more perfect for a role than this one. Just take a look at Robert Downey Jr.'s actual life. If you've heard anything about him, you must have probably heard at one point that he was a drug addict. And while this is true, what is also true, and more important, is that he fought through hell to get where he is now. Just like the character who he plays, he's human, and he makes mistakes. Not just small, but Tony Stark has made some pretty big ones, and the same can be said about Robert Downey Jr. in his life as well. But what gets us all to just, without a doubt, have unconditional love for this man is his transition and how he has conquered his demons in real life and thus on the big screen. This list would not even exist if it wasn't for the strong gentleman who plays as Tony Stark and the Iron Man, who are one and the same, so remember that. And that's why we love Robert Downey Jr., and that's why we love Iron Man. Let us know your reasons down below of why you love Tony Stark / Iron Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Hope you enjoyed these top 10 reasons why we love Iron Man. If you have somebody that you love just as much as Iron Man, be sure to let us know who that is in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more superhero related content. As always, this has been Warren, and thanks so much for joining us here at Superhero Central.